Anchor is attract, nurture, convert, humanize, optimize, and retain and recurring revenue. So attract, we've boiled it down, and there's 25 ways that you can attract new leads to your business, and then of that, there's breakdowns in some of those. So like client, like authority building, books would fall under that. Book is not a lead generation strategy. So that's attract. Nurture. Most people don't nurture. That's just the reality. Like you opt into my email list and then I send you sales emails every week, like go buy my glop every week until you unsubscribe. Um, that is like for most people, that's as good as it gets. So we have a lot of our clients build out 52-week long email sequences where it's actual value being added for 52 weeks, an entire year, and then trigger it at the end with a tag to begin them back at the beginning of it. Because do you remember an email that you got a year ago? Nah, like nobody does. So it can run in perpetuity without you having to stress on like a Monday morning, like, oh, this thing should have gone out this morning or whatever it is, and like having to stress about an email. Do the thing once. We call them singular actions. What can you do once that, like a stock with a dividend, what can I invest in once today and keep getting rewards or returns on that in perpetuity? What dividend pays out quarterly, whatever else, a singular action can pay you out indefinitely. So doing things like that on the nurture side of things. Convert. How are you actually converting? A lot of times we see, having been under the hood of a lot of businesses, they think that a lot of their leads are coming from this source, but they're actually coming from this source. Their conversions aren't fully optimized. There's leaky holes in that bucket, whether it's sales team, marketing to sales handoff, um, you know, uh, book call booking, page, optimization. It could be any of those things to increase your conversions. H is the humanize, where most relationships these days, especially AI, and I love AI, don't get me wrong, I use AI to do humanize things, but it's so, hello, contact, first name. I'm really excited to share this with you, and I've been holding it back, like whatever fake BS it is. The buyers are so much more sophisticated these days than they were 2 and 5 years ago. AI has like really ramped that up with a lot of buyers. So how can you create genuine, not B2B interactions, business to business, not B2C interactions, business to consumer, but H to H interactions, like human to human? How can I, because at the end of the day, if I'm selling B2B, there's still a human making a decision. B2C, obviously a human. So how can I create some sort of humanized interactions with you? It doesn't have to be a monetary thing, but what can I do there to deepen that relationship? Because the deeper the relationship, the greater the retention, etc. O is optimize. Most business owners really have no idea about their metrics. They don't know what is working and what's not. So they just keep throwing stuff at the wall and hoping for the best. And then if something is working, they tend to stop it because, like, I don't know if it's working or not. So let's just turn that off and we'll leave that running. And then they wake up in 6 months from now with like the house on fire, being like, we have no leads. Like, what are we going to do? So really knowing what the numbers are. We pay for a lot of really high-end advanced tracking softwares that do these sorts of things for our clients, but you've got to have a pulse on what is actually working and what's not. Kill the stuff that's not working and do more of the stuff that is. Because most entrepreneurs, and I'm so guilty of this myself, shiny object syndrome. Let's go do that. Let's go do that. Let's go do this. And like it just adds more irons to the fire when you may not even need it. Just do more of what's working if you could actually support it with the data. And then the final is retention and recurring revenue. I mentioned earlier, like we sold a business to Berkshire Hathaway. It was an insurance business. And insurance is amazing because it has retention built into it. It has recurring revenue built into it. If you ever want to sell a business, having like very, very high retention or especially recurring revenue, you get a much higher multiple on the business when you choose to sell it. And so everything I do builds that in. So like all of our models build in recurring revenue because I don't want to have to go hunting. Again, back to the whole Doug Brackman thing, the book Driven. There's hunters and there's farmers. And most employees are very much farmer-like. They want to go, plant some seeds and tend to the crops and then get something, a consistent thing. Hunting, way more like feast to famine, big game, and then you may not catch anything sort of thing. My methodology is sort of like merge those together. Like I want to create the relationships and the nurtures and things that can have long-term, have my monthly payroll covered before the month even starts, but then be able to go whale hunting and go after the big fish, the big game that allow me to like create big wins. And so it's a mixture of that on the retention and recurring revenue side of how can you actually create a business and an offer that supports you, supports the lifestyle, where you're not having to like, I need 25 leads or new sales this month, otherwise I'm in the red and the business is going under. That is an awful place to make decisions from. It's hyper emotional, and you don't make logical decisions. And so how can you create the bounds or the boundaries that you operate inside of with higher levels of retention and recurring revenue? So there's a bunch of ways. I mean, I could spend like 10 hours just talking about that. But that's the anchor framework. And so we go section by section with a lot of our clients to help them build these things out, or on the fractionalcmo.com side of things, coaching them on what to do themselves so that they have, a much more sustainable, scalable business.
If you want to save time on watching all the episodes, but still get all the gold nuggets that we find from interviewing these 7, 8, and 9-figure entrepreneurs, then you can get all of that inside of the 2 Comma Club newsletter. Just go to 2ccnewsletter.com and subscribe.